Hey everyone, it's late at night and I am Norman, so let us begin. Tonight I want to talk about 4 discontinued Christopher Ward watches that you should know about. Christopher Ward is one of my favorite entry-level watch brands. I actually own 3 of their watches. I own a C65 Trident, I own one of the Malverns that I'll be talking about tonight, and I own a C65 Sandhurst. I love them all. The case design is amazing. The watches are just brilliant. I first encountered the brand a few years ago when I stumbled upon one of their Trident watches. That was back when they were still using the spade-shaped hands. I loved the Trident seconds hands so much so that I went out and bought one thinking I was going to mod my SKX 007 with it. I never did. Christopher Ward is a surprisingly young brand, founded in 2004 by Christopher Ward himself, Mike France, and Peter Ellis. Legend has it the brand was dreamed up while the 3 men were in a boat on the River Thames. I cannot confirm this, but I will trust the interwebs. Just 1 year later, they put out their first watch, and they made history. Christopher Ward was the first watch brand to sell their watches exclusively online. Jump ahead to 2014, and celebrating the company's 10th year, they put out their very first in-house movement, the Caliber SH21. This was a major milestone for the company. If you look at their catalog today, you'll see that most of the pieces they've been coming out with recently are sporty, vintage-inspired watches, and that they've moved away from their purely dress lines like the Malverns. Although, just today, I saw a watch that's not yet on the Christopher Ward website that has a tuxedo dial and reminds me of dress watches that are actually sports watches, like reversos or vintage pole routers. So let's take a look at 4 watches from Christopher Ward's past that you need to see. The first watch I want to talk about is the Christopher Ward C900 SWKR. This is a single pusher chronograph from 2013. It has a full display case back, and the movement inside it is the Unitas ETA 6497. The crystal is sapphire. The lug width is 20 millimeters. The case size is 43.1 millimeters. The case height is 15.9 millimeters. And the length from lug to lug is 51.5 millimeters. I love the dial on this watch, and that's why I've included it in this list. I love those hands. They remind me of space age art from the 1950s or 60s. The problem with this watch for me is the case size. 43 millimeters and almost 16 millimeters thick. When you look at other photographs of the watch on the wrist, it just looks terrible. That height is out of control. But I've included here again because that dial is amazing. The next watch I want to talk about is the C5 Malvern 595 from 2018. This is a 2-hander, so there isn't a seconds hand. It's super thin, and inside of it, it has an ETA 7001 movement. The crystal is sapphire. The lug width is 20 millimeters. The case size is 39 millimeters. The height is 5.95 millimeters. and the length from lug to lug is 45.8 millimeters. I actually own one of these watches with the white dial, and I love it. The case design and overall design of the watch just looks amazing. You could set it side by side with high-end dress watches, and I think it would hold its own and kind of blend right in. And I love the ETA 7001. What a great movement. The C5 Malvern 595 is a great watch. If you can track down one of these, I highly recommend buying it. If there was any beef that I have with it, again it would be the case size. Being so thin and being a pure classy dress watch, I think shaving off a couple millimeters would have been wise. The next watch I want to talk about is the C5 Malvern Slimline. Reference C5 SLM SBB from 2017. This watch has a blue dial and Dauphine hands, and it is really hard to find online. I found it on one website, so I'm not able to get all of its stats, but here's what I have. The movement inside it is an ETA 2801-2. The crystal is sapphire. I believe the lug width is 20 millimeters. That's what they went with their other Malvern watches, but that's just a guess. The case size is 40 millimeters. I love the hands on this watch. The dial is great. The simple indices, it's just a beautiful watch. This is just a great looking watch. I like the dial, the indices, I love those hands, but good luck finding one of these. The last watch I want to talk about is the C5 Slimline Square from 2016. The movement inside it is a Solita 210-1. The crystal is sapphire. The lug width is 20 millimeters. The case size is 37 millimeters by 37 millimeters. And the height is 8.25 millimeters. I love the aesthetic of this watch. It looks so vintage, so great. I would definitely put it on leather, not on the mesh band, but this is just a really, really cool looking watch. I actually have saved an eBay search for one, so we'll see if I can track one down. Christopher Ward is on a great trajectory. I mean, just look at some of the pieces they've been putting out. The C65 Sandhurst, the C60 Sapphire, amazing. We're going to be seeing nothing but great work come out of this brand in the future. But some of these old dress pieces are great if you can track them down. So there you have it. 4 beautiful, interesting Christopher Ward watches that are no longer in production. Thanks for watching.